Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You must be here to talk about something tonight. Welcome to our Planning Commission meeting this evening. We're going to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ron, you want to lead us?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Do a roll call.
Commissioner Anderson?
Here.
Richardson?
Here.
Garnon?
Here.
Eaton and
Here.
Jensen.
Here. Move now to our public appearances section. Per California state law, matters not on the agenda raised by anyone in the public will automatically be referred to staff or placed on the next meeting's agenda. If there's anyone wishing to address the commission at this time on anything that is not on tonight's agenda, please step forward and do so. Sounds like we have a, yes, sir.
One. I didn't get to see the agenda, but I hope that you can consider dark skies at some point in your future conversation. Join the global movement to keep night skies visible for people as much as possible by pointing outdoor exterior lights down and keep them shaded so that they're not making these light blooms that wash out our stars and planets and all of that sort of thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. Would anybody else like to address the commission on anything not on the agenda? If not, we'll move on ahead. Minutes from the last meeting, March 14th. Everybody have a chance to read and review. I saw, go ahead, John.
I was just going to, you had a comment?
I had one thing on the third page. It was the second paragraph down. Commissioner Richardson and Chairman Garner expressed concern over the downsizing of the parcel zone. I think we meant down zoning, wasn't it?
Oh, sorry.
That's
Yes,
okay.
you're right.
Sorry.
Right.
We don't want to make them any smaller than they already
No,
are.
you're right.
I have no other changes.
I move that we approve the minutes as corrected.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Richardson, second by Commissioner Jensen. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I'll abstain, I was absent.
That's right. All right, we'll move on to design review, which is probably our main event tonight. Continuation of an application by Trado Restaurant for a design review permit to construct a new beer garden at the existing building located at 198 South Green Street in a C commercial zone. The assessor parcel number is 002-19206. Paula?
Thank you, sir. This item was continued from your March Planning Commission meeting. At that meeting, the Planning Commission directed staff to notify the property owners within 300 feet of the property of the proposed design review project, and an attachment in your staff report of that notice that was sent out has been included. They also, at that meeting, the Planning Commission asked staff to do additional noise monitoring to be conducted on the nearby residential properties with the consent of those property owners. As you'll recall, the previous noise study was done with monitoring done on the public right-of-way, as always in cases where we don't have access to private property. But with the nearby residential properties consent, we did additional studies. You'll also recall at that meeting that the applicant agreed not to do live music at his facility in the outdoor area. And so that application of the revised project description has been included. For the benefit of everyone here tonight, I will go through the steps of the staff report, since not everybody has read that, and we'll all have the same information to be considered. So backing up at this point, I will go over the revised project description. So this is a design review permit for a beer garden, and it's located at 198 South Green Street. This is a request to convert the existing use from the retail store with outdoor storage to a beer garden with retail sales at the rear in the building. I'm sorry, I have a cold, so bear with me. The outdoor area would be used for seating, and then they will also have a area that has shipping containers that will be converted for seating and bar area. The seating would be inside the containers as well as limited seating above the containers underneath umbrellas. You can see an example of that on page 5 with figures 3 and 4 in the staff report. Access to the site is from a gate to the front of the property or by 2 recessed side doors to the north of the property adjacent to the city's parking lot in that location. The proposed project also would have some limited TVs within those shipping container areas and music that would be piped through stereo system within that same component. So the conditions of approval that are in your staff report that talk about the noise levels of the speakers are regarding the noise that would be associated with any kind of TV or music that was the background music in that scenario, not live entertainment. The Planning Commission asked for the applicant to clarify that in writing, as he said it at the meeting, but we also did receive that in writing for the file. So as we go through the staff report, we discussed last time that part of the issue with the project is the adjacent walkway to the parking area from the 2 recessed doors. The applicant will need to get approval through the city council for the renovations to that parking lot next door as part of this design review to provide for the safe walkway from the parking area into the facility and access through there. The fire department and the building official have both reviewed the design of the layout, and one of the issues that they have is the access from the stage 3, since it will continue to be in use, and having clear access from that facility through this project out to a public right-of-way or parking area. So that's also been included in your condition of approval. Within the courtyard area where the beer garden would be located, there will be landscaping within containers. They won't be planted in the ground, but that would be within containers. And there will be fire pits to create the ambiance of the beer garden. The fire chief has reviewed these issues and included conditions of approval dealing with the signage associated with the LPG gas and also those fire pit areas. The color scheme for the project would be brown and black, and that would be complementary to the existing color scheme of the Bourbon Barrel and the Stage 3 that is immediately adjacent to this facility. Excuse me. The parking for the project, the applicant has a couple of ways to satisfy the parking. The use requires 25 spaces, and the applicant can either provide parking agreements with adjacent property owners in the nearby vicinity as allowed by your ordinance, or pay the in lieu fee of $1,500 per space. We did do a parking survey and a study of the availability of parking in the area, and as we discussed at your last meeting, there is adequate parking to provide for that if he chooses to do the $1,500 per space instead of the agreements. My understanding is that it'll probably be a combination thereof, and that would be adequate to survive, to take care of the parking issue. As for the noise, The previous noise study we discussed at the last meeting was done by Ballard Acoustical Consultants, and Mr. Ballard is here tonight to answer any questions as we move on through the meeting. Appreciate him coming tonight. We did have him come back out with his team and look at the additional noise that you had directed staff to do. We did work with the nearby residences to put the monitors on their site, actually on their back decks where they would be having their outdoor areas, to make sure that the noise assessment that was done previously would be the same and be adequate even on their deck, not just from the public right-of-way in front of their houses. And so based on that, excuse me, the consultants did do a study, and they based it on crowd noise this time. Last time, you'll recall, we did use music just as an indicator, being that if there was music being played, people wouldn't be talking above the music that level. And this time, we actually used a crowd audio file to do this, since that's the measurement that we wanted to make sure we got. Excuse me. So what they did is they monitored both for the one-time listening, but then they also left it over a period of 24 hours so that they would have the ambient condition. And those results are in your packet as an attachment, the crowd noise assessment. And it was not possible to hear the crowd noise levels at the two residential locations when it was at 75 dB, 25 feet from the speakers. And to give everybody an idea of what that noise level is, the normal urban city traffic, or a vacuum cleaner for those who vacuum at home, that is typically 78 to 80 dBA. So it kind of gives you an idea of how loud we're talking about. On noise scales, conversation noise is generally located around 65 dBA. So when they were emulating a noisy evening, trying to see exactly how loud it would get before it really registered on the monitors, they put it up to 90 dBA, which was what is typical of a lawnmower. So that would be quite noisy, and people don't generally talk that loud over each other. So just to give everybody an idea of the differences of those noise levels. The crowd noise associated with the typical beer garden scenario would be around the 75 dB on a noisy night, and that level would register at those nearby residential sites at approximately 30 to 45 dBA, which is well below what we have in our general plan, and also what the county has in their general plan for residential noise. With the proposed rooftop seating, the noise would not be buffered by the surrounding walls or the adjacent buildings, because it would be on the rooftop of the containers. So looking at that, we looked at the size of the containers, and the design recommendation is that that be limited to 60 people at any given time, to limit the excess noise that wouldn't be buffered by being within the first floor area. But as noted in the attached noise assessment in your staff report, the monitoring of the ambient noise and the crowd noise levels established that it would be well below the evening and nighttime ambient conditions that's out there right now. We did, in your packet, also include any letters that we had received prior to printing the Planning Commission report, and those were all included as attachments to the end of your staff report. Before you tonight, we received one just minutes before the meeting, and so that copy was put before you. And then we also received one that I'm going to read into the record as well. So this was sent to us by Mr. Jerry Fischillo, and it's addressed to the Planning Commissions, and it is signed by David Morgan, Barbara Dressler, and both Jerry and Marcy Fischillo. excuse me. And it says, Planning Commissioners, I have reviewed the staff report for the subject meeting with a revised project description and conditions with my neighbors, and do hereby withdraw my objection to the project as a nearby resident based upon noise. As is noted in the staff report, the developer has agreed not to conduct live music in the outdoor areas of the project, except for special events, holidays, and other outdoor events promoted within the city. Low-level background music would be permitted during operational hours, and total noise levels would be subject to maximum noise levels as determined by the additional noise study which was conducted. My neighbor David Morgan and I have met with Mr. Kennedy, and he has assured us that he will promptly deal with any excessive evening noise and other problems should they arise. I would like to thank Mr. Kennedy for his concern for the residents and wish him luck in his endeavor. I would also like to thank the Planning Commission for the short delay in this project to address the resident concerns from the originally described project. And then it's signed by the 4 individuals. So that's all of the written responses we've received on this project since the last meeting. And based on the findings in your staff report and the conditions of approval, which start on page 9, staff continues to recommend approval of the project. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Gentlemen, do you have any questions? Paul? Paul, that was a good report, and I feel sorry for you because I recycled that same cold back to myself 3 times. Project applicant is here. Doug, you want to come up? Give us a heads up.
Thank you, committee members. As the letter indicated, I met with the folks that were in opposition to the project, and I think we hashed out a pretty good understanding in terms of how to deal with excess noise, even going as far as saying, look, there's noise levels the city's going to allow us to make, but if the noise gets loud, even below those levels, that we'll try to deal with the noise. So just being neighborly, trying to figure out ways that we can communicate, and I think through those lines of communication, I think we've come to an agreement.
I want to thank you for your effort.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for going the extra distance here.
And real quick, I just want to thank everybody for showing up today. This is really heartwarming.
How many of you folks would like to comment tonight? There's going to be an opportunity now for public comment. And like what Mr. Kennedy just said, the commission, we never get meetings that are as well attended as this. So this is a real treat for us too. It's a little intimidating, but it's a real treat. But with regards to public comment, we really encourage folks to come up and express yourselves. And if you have to state an opinion on anything regarding the project, whether you're for or you have concerns or whatever, just please be respectful of other people's opinions, first of all. Secondly, if you do want to comment, come up to the lectern and limit yourself to 5 minutes. 5 minutes is enough time for you to express good thought. We're going to have a timekeeper, and if anybody wants to say anything, I'm sure you can go on ahead and get it said within 5 minutes because we want to afford other people that much time in which to express themselves too. One more thing. If you've heard it said before, maybe even a couple of times, let's try and keep our ideas fresh and offer new statements because after 2 or 3 times, I guarantee you, we get it. Anyway, I'd like to open up the meeting for public comments, so if anybody would like to come up and address the commission at this time, come on ahead, come on up to the lectern.
Hi. Looks like some of my opinions have already been addressed, but I'll go ahead and let you know what I have anyway. My name is Nikki Coleman, and I'm 100% in support of the beer garden. My husband and I live on Summit Avenue. Our house looks directly over Main Street in downtown Sonora. Everything from sirens to late-night party music floats up into our bedrooms nightly. I would hate for sound to be the concern that stops this much-needed venue from moving forward, especially when let's be real, it's not exactly quiet on any given night on Main Street. As a downtown resident, I have to say that the nightlife sights and sounds of where we live are just part of the charm of living here. It just comes with the territory. With that said, I appreciate and respect the fact that Doug Kennedy has gone the extra mile to conduct sound tests on his own dime, has made amendments to his original plan to keep music indoors outside of holidays and special events. This shows me that he's more than reasonable. He's working hard to meet concerned parties in the middle and is focusing on a positive outcome that will work for everyone. We should be greeting entrepreneurs like Doug with open arms. He's already done great things for downtown with the Bourbon Barrel, and I strongly feel that the Beer Garden is a much-needed venue that we don't want to miss out in our town. I urge the Planning Commission and the City of Sonora to give Doug the support and security he needs to move forward without the possibility for problems down the road. As a past marketing director and events director for a well-known winery in Murphy's for many years, as well as serving on the marketing committee for the Calaveras Wine Grape Alliance, I can tell you firsthand that we lose a great deal of business in Sonora, both from out-of-towners and locals alike, to those who venture to Murphy's to spend their dollar where the exciting venues are, and also where there is a community who is friendly and supportive of their thriving nightlife. I'm afraid that if we don't start allowing movers and shakers like Doug to build their dreams here in our front yards, they'll build elsewhere, and residents and tourists who want something more will follow. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, good evening. My name's Beth Rogers. I live up on Susan Way in Sonora, and she pretty much said everything that I could have said. I am fully in favor of this idea. I'm a local business owner. I feel like it's time for the city of Sonora and for Tuolumne County in general to have a broader spectrum of ideas. As she said, many of us will go over to Murphy's on a Sunday because there's nowhere to sit outside and have a glass of wine in a nice, classy area up here, really, downtown. And in welcoming new businesses, it's going to be enticing for other businesses. We've got a lot of open space, as you guys well know. Nobody's going to want to come and open up new businesses if it's closed-minded all the time. And this idea is going to bring potentially thousands of people through our community that maybe wouldn't come if they're coming for a concert or something like that. That helps hotels, restaurants, the shops downtown. So I ask you guys to be open-minded.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Gina Wirtz, and I'm a local resident as well as a business owner downtown Sonora. And everything I was going to share actually changed because it sounds like Doug got some things ironed out. The first thing I wanted to say is thank you, Doug, from so many of us for your efforts, for everything that you've.
Gina, I'm sorry,
Gina,
but
can
you
you
have to.
direct your comments to us?
Sorry, Commission.
Sorry. So thank you, Doug, and the staff, and you guys. There's so many, obviously with the support, we so appreciate the efforts that were put forth in the current business at the Bourbon Barrel to have a great new business, a classy place to go, and it's exciting even for the younger demographics that are here wanting to support and stay in their own community. It's so exciting to see something new coming that that they can be proud of and be a part of in this community that's also going to bring so much revenue to our community for all the other businesses, and I think also encourage other businesses to start up. And so thanks, Doug. Thank you, staff at Bourbon Barrel. We love you guys, and and I'm proud to be a part of the community with the show here tonight. And I just want to encourage the city to come alongside and support as much as you can, and let us know what we can do, because obviously there's many of us that want to do whatever we can to help and support and be involved. So thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, council members, for hearing me today. My name is Andy Merrill. I've been a resident here of Sonora since I was 7 years old. Graduate of Sonora Elementary, Sonora High School. I'm a local musician. I play with the Hot Dark and Risky Biscuits, and as it is, the Bourbon Barrel and Doug has hired me on numerous occasions to play music and provide entertainment for the guests. If you guys have been there, it's a pretty small stage, and we have to get a little creative with how we perform. Like, I think our drummer had to sit on my bass amp as opposed to a proper drum stool for a couple of things. So the prospect of the place expanding and growing for the foreseeable future is something that really, I'm missing class to be here, by the way. I'm getting my master's. So when I say I am strongly, this means a lot to me. It well and truly does. But Sonora's been good to me. I would not be the musician I am today if it wasn't for the arts community here. I know Sieben isn't, Patrick Sieben, the former high school band director, was there. I know he's no longer here, but I love Sonora. I want to stay here, and playing music and having people like Doug Kennedy providing venues for not only me, but all my fellow band members, that's my primary source of income. So it really comes down to a matter of if this weren't to go through, it would just be one less place for me to earn a living around here. And I lived in Boston for 5 years when I went to college, and I moved back because I love it here, and I don't want to leave. As a 26-year-old, I could see myself staying here for the foreseeable future. Which brings me to another point, Vision Sonora. At the last town meeting I attended, actually addressing some of the concerns that people had before they decided to do additional noise research and stuff like that, I had noticed that there's a lack of sales tax revenue that's been down since even before pre-recession levels. We haven't been able to get back to those levels. So I think having a business like this would be a great way to liven up downtown Sonora. I heard the project is languishing. It would bring additional tax dollars in with increased revenues for local businesses. I just don't see the point in approving something, which has been approved, Vision Sonora, not funding it. And what's the point of beautifying the city if there's not going to be anyone here to enjoy it? I would like to stay in Sonora. Like I said, I've been a lifelong resident, and I think with Doug Kennedy's plan, it just makes sense to me. I see a dearth of sales tax revenues. I see underfunded projects, and this isn't going to cost the city of Sonora a dime because it's all privately funded. It just makes sense to me. So I just wanted to thank you very much for taking the time to listen to me today. And on behalf of Tuolumne and Calaveras County musicians, please vote yes on this.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lori Lehman, and I just want to stand up here and encourage you to vote yes for this project. I'm a member of a couple of committees for Vision Sonora, and Vision Sonora is a plan that was created by the people of Sonora, and I think that this project is very much in line with what everybody in Sonora wanted. So I just want to encourage you on that. Thank you.
Thank you. It's lonely there. Anybody else want to come on up? Thank you for your comments, folks. If no one else wants to speak, we're going to close off public comment, where the board's going to go on ahead and take action. All right, thank you very much. Gentlemen, what's your pleasure?
Well, I'd like to say that it's really exciting to see all these people here, and to kind of echo our feelings over the last meeting. We all love this project. I sure do, and it's just, we definitely needed to give some of our local residences around the area a chance to look into this a little more, and now that they have, it's good to see them on board, and that's it.
Well, go ahead. I'd like to apologize to the team up here for missing last meeting. There were some hot potatoes, but this is actually good stuff now. It's a great meeting. But I do have a few bullet points I'd like to point out here. I want to thank the neighbors for being bold enough to speak up, because that's where our heart's at. This is our community. We care a lot about what happens there, and so the Pacellos and Mr. Barr that spoke up and the letters that came in, it helps us have a better understanding rather than just say, hey, we're just going to grow and go. So we do appreciate, we hope that they feel heard, we hope they feel cared for, and we sure appreciate their follow-up to this. I want to thank the developer personally. I think I appreciate your energy on this project, your tenacity. It's a very clean project. I also I'd like to note, I want to thank you for recognizing to incorporate historical values there as, like railroad mining and logging. These are things that we hold dear. This is our humble beginnings, and so we appreciate that. It's a very clean project. I want to thank the public for being patient through this process. There's a lot of skip about this, and good skip. It's a passion that many, care about. So I just want to put that in there. And I definitely want to compliment Paula Daniluk. She did an excellent job. She's a city planner, very thorough and very consistent. She made it an excellent package, easy to follow. And then, we all can remember, or most of us probably do remember, the evolution of some of Washington Street, from when there was car lots and the likes, and this is one of them. It was Davis Motors not too far back, and then we're into a paint retail business. And you have to wonder, is this a nice migration to something? And I can't help but say yes. It's certainly a very nice migration to something that's very desired by our community. Thanks.
Thanks, Darren.
Comment, when I see the power and the strength of the people here getting involved in this type of activity, it makes me realize what Sonora can really do. When you look what Murphy's has done, if you go through Murphy's on a Saturday or Sunday, you see what they've done. This, I hope, can be the beginning of Sonora going out and really becoming something that is really powerful, strong, and attractive to tourism. You look at this energy here. I haven't seen this in a long time, and this makes you realize that the people want this town to really flourish. We want to get those vacancies filled. It would be great to see some wine tasting come in here, but this is really exciting for the future of our town, and I think it can be the beginning of a new era to get Sonora alive again and really be the place to go up and see in the mountains. Thank you for being here.
This is really community. I appreciate all your interest and concern. And, we also have a council meeting that goes on in this same chamber, and you're more than welcome to come and view that too. Yeah. So my congratulations to all of you for your participation tonight.
My dad told me a long time ago that good things take time. So the extra 30 days that we had here, we've been able to get a dialogue going, and the neighbors were involved, the developer was involved, and staff was involved, and I think everybody had a chance to sit back and kind of take a look at this thing, and I think it's got merit myself. And so I appreciate Mr. Kennedy and his staying power and putting up with the system, and that's all I have to say. Anybody like to make a motion?
I would like to move that we approve this plan based on the general conditions for approval.
I'd second.
Darren, you second it. John Richardson makes the motion with to approve the project with the, I think there are 4 findings and 17 conditions?
Yes.
Okay. Darren Eaton makes a second. There, any other discussion? If not, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Aye. No one opposed? Let's serve some beer.
How'd that go? One of the better planning commission hearings I've ever been to.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we do have still a meeting going on here, so we're going to let Rochelle finish up with her Community Development Director's report.
Hey, it's a real, we'll keep it really short, but I did want to give you guys just a couple things. Planning Commission appointments, as you know, Gary's seat will be up in July, and so we have noticed that that seat will be available for a possible appointment. To date, the only person that we received an application from is Gary.
All right. All right.
The deadline, we did publish it in the newspaper. The deadline is April 29th for that. So as you guys probably saw, Walmart is staging out there right now. So that project is going to get going here very shortly. And then the same thing with the outpatient pavilion. They're getting going and they're starting to tear down buildings and move forward on that project as well.
I'm sorry, what was that again?
The outpatient pavilion,
Okay.
the Sonora Regional Medical Cancer Center. The Walmart project, we're still working on some of the building plans, and the same with the outpatient pavilion. The tenant improvement plans and the shell plans haven't quite been finished or fully approved, but they're moving forward. I wanted to give you an update on landscaping issues in the city as well. As you know, when McDonald's got completed, they couldn't put their landscaping in. And then you also know that we had problems with Lowe's landscaping. A lot of it died. And they were gearing up to replant a lot of that dead vegetation. And then the drought hit. So all those projects are starting to circulate back now. We've met with Lowe's. They've already started replanting a lot of the dead vegetation on that site. And so that one, they're starting to get everything in and done. And we'll be looking at that project in about 6 to 8 weeks. And they should be fully done with their replanting of their landscaping out there. A lot of it has died down on the banks and stuff along the highway. They have replanted a lot in the parking lot, yeah.
Rochelle, was the result of that, was that as a result of water restrictions by TUD or just weather?
No, what that was, their water purveyor, or their landscape company was out of Tennessee, and the way they monitored all their water and needs for their vegetation was from a Tennessee computer system. And what was happening is they were out of sync with what was going on in Sonora.
You think?
And we'd see water running when it didn't need to be running. They did not do a good job. They no longer have that company overseeing their landscaping anymore. The other thing that they did is they set up these regional managers that are now responsible for regions. So before we were dealing with an attorney back east with their company. Now we deal with the same guy all the time. We have a good relationship with him, and he handles the issues with all the different regions. And so he's very responsive, and he's doing a great job. And they're, like I said, they're getting ready to get it all cleaned up. The thing is, too, is we extended their maintenance agreement. As you know, the city has a bond in place on maintenance for these projects, and it's usually for 3 years. We extended it on this project as well as the McDonald's project because of the fact that they couldn't replant. The idea with the 3 years is that plants are pretty much established by then, and at that point we can release the bond, but we weren't able to do that on the Lowe's project. So, but we will, again, monitor it over the period of time. Once they're established, then we'll be able to release the security and the landscaping. And McDonald's, they're going to ask for some revisions, but they will be moving forward with their landscaping as well. They also had a wall that failed. I don't know if you guys have seen that in the project. They had some of their veneer has fallen off on the way through the drive-through. And so they're actually going to come back. We approved for them. They're going to actually use the veneer that we had them use on that retaining wall. They're going to use it on that wall within the project as well. So they're going to pull all the veneer areas off on that wall that failed, and they're going to put the nice dry stacked look that we had them put on the bottom wall. So that'll be an improvement, but unfortunately they did have some problems with their veneer on that wall. So I wanted to let you know if you see that going on. That's the concern. And then the ordinance that you guys approved, the one that I put downsizing instead of downzoning, the city council approved it unanimously, or approved the waiving of the first reading, and the ordinance will go back to them on Monday night for approval, and then it'll be in place in 30 days, and those properties rezoning will happen. And it went very smooth at the city council. Nobody spoke against the project. So I just wanted to give you those quick updates. We don't have an application yet for May, so it's quite possible that you will not have a May meeting.
When the council approved, did they accept those exclusions?
We presented it with the excluding those 3 parcels from it.
That was accepted?
Yeah, they said 4, but when the applicant talked to you, they talked about 4, but there's really only 3 that face
Okay.
Stewart Street. And when we did the project, when we did it, we did the resolution eliminating those, so they weren't even part of what was considered
Good.
by the city council.
Super, great.
If they want to come back later and add that back in, they can do that, maybe a future property owner, but right now, they'll be excluded. So that's what I have for you guys tonight. And thanks again for your hard work. It was
Hey, you guys,
it's been a rough
no
month,
kidding.
I know, for everybody, and
And I know it's been said a couple of times, but you and Paula, excellent job.
made it
Thanks
easy. You did a
for
great job.
thanks for
You made it
sorting out
easy.
all that.
This
Getting all
was,
this.
and Paula,
And
you
very
did a great
sick.
job tonight being sick.
I know.
You hung in there beautifully, but you guys, this work is simple.
Yeah.
You guys put it together so
you
well.
make it
This
easy.
last packet was just easy and so clear.
Having a consultant on standby, even though he wasn't prevailed upon, that was super. And the fact that we all got this dialogue going with everybody and trying to get little things ironed out, just like Darren said, it's a community effort, you know, so it was nice that those folks even showed up.
Well, you guys did a great job with the crowd, so that was
This is really
kind of-
exciting for Sonora to see this. I mean, this can be the start. I mean,
Yeah.
I see Murphy's, what they've done over there. This can be another bigger than Murphy's.
Yeah,
People get
so
fired up and get going, to get
hopefully
things
all that,
going.
if you guys have noticed, we have some vacancies that are starting to fill up
I know.
downtown. So we can hope that that just keeps happening.
It's a great town.
There's a heartbeat out there, and you see these things happen when the economy turns. So
Yeah.
these are positive signals for the economy.
I went through Angels Camp the other day, and wow, it's downtown it's almost empty.
Well, it's not, but that's going to bounce back too. You know,
Yeah.
the Utica, Hotel Utica has new owners, and they're doing a big renovation on it. And there's some good buildings in downtown Angels. So
There's
I
some
think
beautiful,
that,
you know,
we,
you want the whole region to be successful.
that's right. We do well here. I guarantee it's going to go across the river too. If there's no other business, let's get out of here and go home, huh?
Way earlier than I thought we could.
Yeah, I thought we were in for a 2-hour marathon. All right, I motion to adjourn.